Hello and welcome to another edition of the Eternal Journey. I'm That Resolves, and this is Emsizz Monotype. Did actually make a slight change here as I shaved down on the Venom Riders just a little bit just to stick some Praxis Displacers in there, as these are still pretty great with the Ageless Mentor and really help you getting in there with the Reliquary Raider. I've been a big fan of this deck in the past, and it's helped me get to Masters on more than one occasion where I've been struggling to figure out what I should actually be playing that month. Though this is taking a slightly different direction here, as we're not playing the Sand Warrior. Because we're not playing the Sand Warrior, we don't really need the Trailmaker here either to just really guarantee those turn 2 Sand Warriors. So our plan is to be much bigger and leaning on the Ageless Mentor, and we don't actually have the Sauropod Wrangler in this list, so we've not got any spicy nombos. As if you play the Sauropod Wrangler and then the Ageless Mentor, it can mean that you just miss on quite a lot of your counters. It means that the Sandstorm type would no longer be eligible for the buff, but fortunately we've got around that by just not playing. And as we don't need the time source as soon as possible, we can just play the Power Stone here, which is going to be slightly better than the Trailmaker, as it's a ramp that can't really be removed very easily. One-time deck has just got a bunch of huge hitters as well, as we've got the Dawnwalkers, which are pretty easy to bring back in this deck, as well as just everything from 4 up with the Sandstorm Titans, the Behemoths and the Ascendants is just the hugest, chunkiest threat that we can sort of get going here. Do the full playset of Amber Waystones, as it's basically free here, and the Amber Monuments are going to help us early on if we do need them as a power source, but for the most part this is just going to be to make us a little bit more threat dense. We have one cool little combo going on as well. Got the Behemoth and the Ascendant, as the Behemoth allows you to play down the Ascendant on 6, and then when you attack with the Behemoth you'll put a power into play and then you get to draw the card off the Ascendant. You don't have to wait around to be playing this on sort of your 7th turn. Okay, so on to the games. Okay, and this is potentially quite a good hand. It's a bit of a tough one though. We are on the play with Nish at the Sands, which can lead to some pretty busted draws. We'll be playing the Amber Monument just as a power source though, and just hitting up with a turn 3 Sandstorm Titan. So I think that's probably good enough. And if we draw more power sources, then we will get to play the Behemoth, which will pretty much fix any of our other problems. Just a slight technical difficulty. I just had to turn my volume down, and oh, this is the nightmare scenario. But if we're still lucky, we get to play a turn 3 Sandstorm Titan. But the torch there was pretty gross if things didn't work out. And we are allowing our opponent to have a bit of extra time here to set up with this Bladekin Apprentice. But as it's looking like they're just a Praxis deck, I think we will be leading with the Sandstorm Titan. Although there's a lot of value to be had here with this Ageless Mentor, and I'm sort of tempted to get that down, but really we should just be playing the Sandstorm Titan out and not getting too greedy. Oh, would actually got slightly rewarded if they'd Praxis displaced our Ageless Mentor, but this is a pretty interesting deck we're against here. And now if we draw a power, we get to play Power Stone and Ageless Mentor, or probably just get down the Behemoth. So this is going to become progressively more difficult to block, but if I put it as like a fast effect here, like a torch or something, I'd rather just not deal with that. So we'll pluck the 4-1 here. So at least if they do have a torch, then they lose their unit as well. Although it's not looking great for us. But we do at least have a Reliquary Raider here. Just attacking for 5 is basically free, because we do have an endurance unit, which is, well, that sounds sometimes so good. You are able to still be aggressive even when you're in a really defensive situation. And now I'll see what our opponent was up to. So I suppose we're just can actually just double block here, I think. Because our opponent... No, they'll just kill the Sandstorm Titan. Yeah, that's nonsense. So we'll just use the Reliquary here as just a sort of buy us some time. And there we go. That's pretty perfect. That's what we were looking for. So we get to gain 2 life. We could play the Mentor and the Power Stone, but I think realistically we just want to get this Behemoth down. I'm not sure if I actually want to be attacking here. Well, the Mentor was probably actually okay as well, because that's just some sort of chud that we're quite happy to just throw away. And we will get up to 7 power here if we attack with the Behemoth. So we can play the Mentor and the Venom Rider. I think that's what we'll perhaps do. My plan was to stick some stuff in front of the Sandstorm Titan then. I'm pretty happy with that as well. Yeah, it was pretty great. Just our one attack there got to remove a good number of our opponent's threats. And then now we have a 5/5 Venom Rider. And next turn we can pay 5 to be able to make a Sandstrider to be able to remove this 7/3. But for now we're just chucking the 2/3 under the bus. Another good thing with the Worldbearer Behemoth in this deck is that all the power is just going to be undepleted. So we'll attack here again. I'm going to just keep this Venom Rider down. We are able to quite quickly overpower this 8/3 here. And yeah, the proxy displacer probably would have done it, but I think our opponent's seen enough here. Okay, we're on the play, but sadly we can't keep this one, as we didn't have quite enough power. It was all in the stones. This isn't excellent, but any hand where you get to be on the play for an Initiator Sands is sort of good shape. I think we appear to be lagging a little bit here, so I think I'll be restarting the client after this game. Now I've got sort of a decision to make about the Amber Monument here, because it's just another threat which would be quite nice, especially if we're against a, I'm assuming like a Film Control list here. But I'd also quite like to just be able to play the Displacer into the Behemoth without any interruptions. So I think we're going to play it out. Though if we do Flood, that's going to be pretty gross, although the Worldbearer Behemoth could do a good job here at helping to protect us. But the opponent's Annihilates are going to be pretty great against us. But I also sort of don't mind trying the power there now that our main power source, the Initiator Sands, has been destroyed. I'd much rather keep back the Praxis Displacer, because I just really want to be attacking with this Reliquary Raider. I'll bring also Annihilate, that's fine. Pretty much everything in our deck, well, everything in our deck is going to die to Annihilate. So if that's how our opponent wants to spend their early turns, that's fine by us. Though they also could get some value out of a Hailstorm here, whereas Hailstorm wouldn't, well, Extract as well, wouldn't be traditionally very good against the rest of our deck here. Now, whenever anyone, ooh, there we go. Right in the nick of time, the Xenan Obelisk. Would like to have played it there, but we don't have anything in play. So we'll just play down the Worldbearer Behemoth. And the Death Strike's sort of fine, really. We'll just keep chucking out threats. And I'll say I would have had to have played out the Amber Monument anyway. The threat density of this deck, even though it doesn't really have any card draw aside from like the Ascendant. Oops. A bit of luck there. I was thinking about attacking just to give our opponent the opportunity, but I think we're just going to tie up our opponent's turn. And then if our opponent has to play this again, then that's more than fine by me. Because hopefully we've drawn the power to be able to get in there with the Predatory Carnosaur and just gobble it up. Of course, our opponent does get to play it down with Annihilate Protection now. But I think I'm still happy enough just to chunk in there for 5 of the Sandstorm side. If our opponent wants to trade, that's something I'm more than happy with. But this matchup here is one of the ones where our opponent can get away with not actually having the Aegis effect, as we don't actually have any direct ways of dealing with our opponent's threats. And the flying can be pretty invalidated by the Sandstorm Titan here. But our opponent's going for a Virus Favor to the face, so I'm sort of curious what they're up to here. They are just making the 11-5. So I think right here, so if we play the Obelisk down, we do get to get for a bunch of damage. Probably going to gobble up one of our bigger threats, and I think that's something I'm sort of fine with. Unfortunately, we just get him for a little bit of damage here, though. I feel like our opponent's got some like Death Strike. Okay, so Lightning Strike on the Praxis Displace is fine. If I had some sort of like Death Strike or something, which was sort of a little bit more gross. But at least now we've got a Predatory Carnosaur to lead up with, and this will be a 7-7, as we have the Praxis Obelisk, well, the Xenan Obelisk in play. Although generally this does see more play in Praxis decks. We're getting ever closer to the... But we'll just attack in here. There's no reason not to just attack first, just to get free of this. But we'll just be Predatory Carnosaur in this, while our opponent doesn't have any Annihilate up. Then just leave our opponent pretty dead on board. As unfortunately, Felon Colour Combination doesn't have a board wipe yet. Do they have something? Nope. Just deaded them with dinosaurs and giants. Okay, so we're back and not an excellent hand, so easy redraw there. If I restart the client, so hopefully it should run a little bit better here. I think given the sort of texture of this hand here, I do want to be leading on the... actually we can play this on 2. Yeah, so we'll play Time Sigil first, and if we don't draw another power, we'll play the Amber Monument on 2. If we didn't draw that power source, then I was just going to play this on 1, just to make sure we're nice and smooth. And as we've now got multiple Amber Monuments, just going to play that down, and then quite a nice curve with the Reliquary Raider and the Venom Rider. So this could be like some sort of heart pile. Or... Okay, so we're getting purified here. This is fine. I might want to keep the Venom Rider around, just because this can pressure weapons pretty well. But I'm also just going to get in there. If I wants to torch it, that's fine. I think next turn we might actually just turn this into 2 bodies. Okay, so they're just making the Wanted Poster torch. So I'm guessing this is like a Molten Fist weapon deck. Yeah, let's get spooky and gain some life. It's going to be a pretty gross match because they do have a bunch of board wipes, but we do have a bunch of threats that are pretty much just like 1 unit armies. I'm sort of tempted to just play out the Emsizz Ascendant here just to sort of turn this into draw a card. But I think I'm also happy to save that a little while as well. Well, actually, yeah, we'll do that now. If our opponent's got a harsh rule here, then we've still got a pretty great refill with the Rhynarch or the Sandstorm Titan. This is even better because we get to get him for 5 points of damage here. And next turn, if our opponent deals 5 threats, we get to play Sandstorm, Titan and Obelisk. Obelisk will be turned on with the sort of ultimate anthem of +2/+2. And that makes any threat in our deck just ridiculous to deal with. And actually, now we've got the Dawnwalker. I think we're going to lean on the Dawnwalker pretty heavily, as this also makes a lot of our opponent's weapons look pretty silly as well. And of course they can have some sort of silence effect here. So they can have silence effects to be able to deal with this, but I'm not super concerned. But I think we'll lead with the Rhinak first. This is slightly less good against a carrier than the Sandstorm Titan is, but I'm also not super concerned. I think we'll chuck out the Initiate of the Sanzo, just so that if our opponent does have like Torch and Vanquish, that we're still able to pressure this Runehammer. Okay, so they've got the silence effect. So perhaps this is time that they're just going to untap and make a harsh rule. But I'm also sort of fine with that. It's nice to see this sort of list on the ladder again, as it's sort of the least popular of the armory types. But I think there's a lot of power to be had in just having Disjunction in your deck, especially when you get to back it up with cards like Molten Fist or any sort of buffed die shows. And Praxis displacing this isn't exactly where I want to be. But I'm pretty happy with just what we've got in play here. That was a nice play by the opponent. Just reset the damage on the Initiate of the Sands for no particular reason. So free to play back. So I need to think about where I want to play this at, and of course I do, because having Lethal in play is always pretty nice. But yeah, that was a really nice heads up play by the opponent. Rise to the challenge for a Scorpion Wasp. I didn't even consider it. That's a really nice toolbox they've got there, as they've already shown us the Desert Marshal as well as a Scorpion Wasp. So they get to rise to the challenge for removal spells, which is perhaps even another draw to this faction combination for an armory deck. I think our opponents might have a rough choice here, because they're not just snapping off the harsh rule. So that must have been thinking of a way out. Probably involved like a wanted poster. It's just not worth playing it out. Just move on to the next game. Okay, and last game of the set here. And we do get to live in the promised land here with the Initiate the Sands on the play into a Reliquary Raider. So I think this is a keep. Although if our Initiate gets torched, then we are in some rough shape, as we've got some expensive spells here with a 4, 5, 6. But I'm willing to live on the edge. We don't play mono time to mulligan into 5 power hands. There we go. Never not lucky, and if our opponent does have a torch here, they've got a much better target. But our next turn, we do get to play down the Xenan Obelisk, as long as our Initiate the Sands isn't interfered with here. And if our opponent is like an actual beatdown deck here, just making a threat, then I'm pretty happy there as well. I'm also playing against another style of armory deck here, perhaps. So play the actual Time Sigil just to not lose any value on this Amber Waystone. The 2-life game might not actually come up, but still rather have it than not, as it's essentially still just a free power. And another nice thing with this ramp piece is we get to get this Worldbearer Behemoth in right before any sort of harsh rule nonsense could be happening. Of course our opponent can still vanquish it, and Island's Choice Witch isn't really the best answer, because you still get to essentially draw a card by putting a power into play. And if our opponent is strategizing here, then we're going to get at least one attack in with this. But I won't be putting anything else into play. Just to keep our opponent on the back foot here, just a great board. don't want to lead ourselves open to just being absolutely destroyed by a harsh rule here, especially when our opponent's got like a million cards in hand. I think this deck might actually be better for laddering than like burn decks at the minute though. As these games have been hitting super quick, and I think this set of 5 videos has been like 25 minutes or something. That's pretty obscene. Though our opponent is in pretty rough shape here, as we will just off the Worldbearer Behemoth trigger. I think we've got lethal, just from being able to get +2/+2. But I'll count that when it matters. Okay, so they might have a torch here actually, which would give them the stay of execution from the initiate the sands, but they didn't find it, and they were pretty unlucky there. But this deck is powerful. Okay, so that was Emsizz mono time, and the deck is absolutely absurd. The mono time deck is perhaps one of the most expensive mono faction decks, as it does have a bunch of legendaries here in the Sandstorm Titan, Behemoth and the Ascendant, but all those are just excellent crafts that you really want to be having in the game anyway, as I'm pretty sure that Worldbearer Behemoth is one of the best 5s in the game that doesn't really just fit in like a niche deck like Elysium with Cerso, as a Worldbearer Behemoth fits in Combre, Praxis and this mono time deck as well as being a all-star in the Xenan decks. I should really like Mystic Ascendant in this deck as well, because it's more likely to actually gain due value here as well, because we just have a bunch of power sources here, just so we can at least try and get it out early with the Initiate the Sands and the Power Stone, but we also get to just activate it much more because we do have the Worldbearer Behemoths, and our opponent's removal and especially Annihilates are just so taxed because we do just have threat after threat, and even our free drops that look quite unassuming like the Reliquary are something that your opponent has to actually deal with. And we saw in one of the games where our opponent had to use the torch on the Reliquary instead of the Initiate the Sands, and of course it was on us to know that the Initiate was more important to us, but that's the sort of interesting threat density that we have in this deck. I would actually recommend playing this deck, and if there are some changes you want to make, you can always stick in like Twin Brood Sauropods or move back to perhaps one of the older styles of mono time deck. Maybe even bring back the Trailmakers to get some nice and early turn 2 Sand Warriors, although I've been impressed by this much chunkier take on the deck, and sadly we didn't get to see Venom Riders really shine here, but I'm also quite interested in seeing how the ultimate actually plays out. And being able to split this into 2 bodies when you do have the Xenan Obelisk in the deck is pretty nice, as you've potentially in a late game in a mid-range mode you could be able to keep around your Deadly Killer Bridal Sandstrider, and that's just full value. Okay, so I've rambled enough. I think that resolves, and this was Emsizz Mono Time. Thanks for watching.